If there's one thing that's missing in the world of health and fitness, it's definitions, because none of us know what it really means to be healthy. No one knows what it really means to be fit. No one knows what it really means to have a good diet. There is no clear definition on any of these things. And without that level of clarity, without an agreed upon definition for some of these really key terms that we all throw around, because let's face it, we all want to be more healthful. We all want to be fitter. We all want to have a good diet. Like, we all want these things, but we don't really know what they are. And if you do a Google search, you're going to get a million different thoughts and ideas and beliefs. And really, it's a bit subjective, right? But when we see somebody or we meet someone, we sort of intuitively kind of know if they're in good shape or if they're healthy, or like we kind of get this, there's a certain, there's a physique, there's a look to this. But I believe it has to be much, much more than that, because even just basing someone's health, their fitness, their overall well-being just on their looks doesn't give us enough information, right? We don't know, like if I have two guys who look amazing, how do we know who is more healthy? How do we know who is more fit? And that's a massive problem. And it's a problem that I've been working on for many, many years, because look, I don't just want to look a certain part. I want to be fitter than most people. I want to be more healthy than most people. In fact, I want to be the healthiest motherfucker on the planet. I want to be the fittest motherfucker on the planet. I'll admittedly, I'm not that person, but that's what I'm chasing. And I believe when we're on this journey, we should be chasing these things. We should be chasing an improvement. We should want to get better. But again, we have to know what we're chasing. What does it mean to be healthy? What does it mean to be fit? Let me give you my sort of my methodology, my thinking around this that will create some more objectiveness in this. So let's just look at health, because at the end of the day, if we can improve someone's overall health, right? We improve someone's health. What happens to someone who's very healthy? Well, they look much better. They lose excess body fat. Their ability to perform better physically improves, right? The numbers that they get back from their doctor are better than average, right? So someone who's healthy, right, has these sort of characteristics. Now, again, it's not just aesthetic, but I believe one of the things that we need to focus on is partly the aesthetic, right? Like, and here's what I think is important. A healthy person has an optimal level of body fat. Now, notice I didn't say less is more, I said optimal. And everyone, based on your DNA, has a very, very healthy body fat. What we kind of generally think is like less is more or less is better. Less is not better. Ask any bodybuilder standing on a stage who's at 4% body fat if it's healthy, and they will tell you, unless they're lying, they'll tell you no, absolutely not. So less is not better. We have to get to an optimal body fat, but that's just part of being healthy, right? So if you see someone who's just looks great, who's very lean, it doesn't mean they're healthy. In fact, they could be a smoker. I know people who have got great abs. They're very lean and they smoke cigarettes and drink beer. So does that mean they're healthy? There's got to be more to it, right? So number one, we want to have optimal body fat. Number two is we need better numbers, better than average numbers from your doctor. So if you go to the doctor and you have let's just use blood pressure, you have your blood pressure taken and your number is 120/80, that's considered normal. And most people are like, good, I'm healthy. Right? But that's not good enough. Someone who has a 110/62 is going to be more healthful in that area, right? It's a sign that their cardiorespiratory system, their cardiovascular system is functioning at a more efficient level, right? So that's one sort of metric. And imagine if we take all of these numbers that you get from the doctor, everything from cholesterol to HbA1c to blood pressure, if we take all of these things and we measure someone and they're above average in everything, that's a good thing, right? Couldn't we both agree that would be someone who is measurably healthy than someone who's maybe just very lean, right? So there's two things we've got. Number one, we need to take a look at optimal body fat, right? Number two is we need better than normal, better than average numbers from your doctor. And then number three, and this is where I think this is what separates the men from the boys. This is what makes people incredibly healthy, and it is your physical capacities. It's your physical abilities, because you can have great numbers from the doctor, right? You can have some sort of an aesthetic, but physically you might not be very capable, meaning you're not very strong, you're prone to injury, you're not very coordinated, you don't have any flexibility, you don't move very well, you're just not uncoordinated, right? There's all kinds of different things that wrap around physical capabilities that make someone really, really healthy. And I believe to be a healthy person in this life, you have to be able to do stuff, right? The way that we as humans interact with the world around us is through our physical being, right? So we have to have physical capabilities, and the higher your physical capabilities are, the more healthful you are, right? And just broadly speaking, there's three things we need to build. We need to be strong. We need to be powerful, which is a combination of strength and speed. And then we also need to have some cardiorespiratory endurance, meaning you should be able to have a gas tank. If you want to go do something for extended periods of time, you shouldn't feel like you're gonna pass out, right? So those three things, the people who have the highest levels of physical capacities generally tend to have optimal body fats, generally tend to have the best numbers from the doctor, right? So all of this stuff sort of comes together. So to be a measurably healthy person, you would need all three of those things. Not one of them, all three of them. And that's exactly what we do in Athletic After 40 is we chase all three of those things. And we do it by fixing nutrition, eating quality foods. Number two is we look at the fitness. What are you doing for your strength? What are you doing for your power? What are you doing for your endurance? We want to bring those things together in a meaningful way and in a very efficient way. How can we efficiently build somebody's physical capacities, right, without wasting a bunch of time? So we bring that into the mix. And then another thing is we want to look at recovery. We want to look at sleep. How well do you sleep at night, right? Because that's a big part of this whole thing as well. If you don't sleep at night, it's going to affect your performance. And if your performance goes down, what does that mean about your health? If it's a factor in your health, then it means your health goes down, right? So all of this kind of ties together. So if you want to make the healthiest humans in the world, which is what I've been doing for almost 20 years, actually almost 25 years, a very long time, these are the things, these are the foundation, these are the elements, the foundational elements that every single person needs to really embrace. And now you have a very measurable way of building your overall health. And look, if you want to dominate the second half, if you're a guy over the age of 40 and you want help guiding you down this road to tell you exactly how to approach your nutrition in a meaningful way that doesn't have you counting calories and tracking macros and doing all the complicated stuff that's out there today. If you want to know how to build your strength, your power, and your endurance all in a meaningful way without spending hours and hours in a gym, you don't need to do that. There are some very efficient ways that we can do that. And then if you want to talk about how you can better recover, how you can get better sleep, how you can just be a more healthful version of yourself in general, this is what we do in Athletic After 40. And it's a completely remote program. So in other words, I work with clients all over the country and we help them, and we have very unique systems and technologies that allow us to build some amazing humans. I would argue that we have in our Athletic After 40 program, in our group, we have some of the healthiest people on the planet who are men over 40 today. And I will put my numbers of my guys up against any other program that's out there. Bring it on. I want to see what your numbers are. Tell me how well your athletes perform if you're in some sort of another program. Tell me what their body fats are. But again, remember what we're chasing here. We're not just looking for aesthetics. We want it all. And we want to do it in the most efficient and effective way possible, which is exactly what we do in Athletic After 40. So look, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about how we might be able to help you on your journey to get you dialed in and to build your health so that you can dominate the second half, go ahead and send me a message and tell me just a little bit about where you're at right now, and then we can figure out how we might be able to help you to progress yourself forward in a measurable, meaningful way.